Hylians! One thing I really enjoy is looking at old early footage and concept art of Zelda games. If you follow me on Twitter, you've probably seen me post this type of stuff now and then. Within these short clips and images, we can have a little look at what might have been, and it's really cool to see some of the ideas that were left on the cutting room floor for some of our favourite games. The single exclusion of some of these things could have changed the games we love in small or big ways. Today I want to talk about a character excluded from Twilight Princess, one we have seen before in the series and who was considered for the game at some point. And that character is Sheik. Within Hyrule Historia on page 174, next to images and concept art of Princess Zelda from Twilight Princess, there are two images of Sheik. One of the front of them and one of the back of them. And apart from these two images, there's not really anything else on this character, just the artwork and their name. Though there is a single line that I will talk about later. So why am I making a video on a single piece of artwork? Well, one, this is still something that a lot of people don't know about. Two, I think it's really interesting to see Sheik even considered for Twilight Princess. Three, there may be hints towards this character still in the game. And four, I want to give some of my ideas on how this character could have played into the story of Twilight Princess. So let's start with the most obvious thing. With how much, well, how little artwork and information there is on this character for this game, it's pretty obvious that Sheik was removed very early on in the game's development. It seems like they were a very early idea for the game, but in the end it just didn't work out for the character. Which is a little sad, as I think the tone of Twilight Princess would have worked very well for the character of Sheik. That doesn't mean that there is nothing pointing towards this character within the game though. Whether it's a reference or something left over from the very early ideas for this game, there is a little possible hint towards Sheik. Now, spoiler for a 22-year-old game, Ocarina of Time, but Sheik is Zelda. Surprise. There may be a little hint towards this when you first meet with Zelda in Twilight Princess. When we first run into Zelda within Twilight Princess, she's waiting in a tower in Hyrule Castle dressed in a long black cloak. And if you look carefully at the back of the cloak, you can see the Sheikah eye. Actually, it's not even really hidden. If you're a fan of the series, you probably recognize this as soon as you saw Zelda in this game. The Sheikah eye is the main symbol of the Sheikah, and the image is featured prominently on the chest of Sheik in all appearances of the character. Now, this could simply be a little reference towards Ocarina of Time, and the twist of Sheik being Zelda in that game. Or it could be a nod towards the Sheikah themselves, but the Sheikah are not really shown in Twilight Princess all that much. They are around, but it's only really Impaz that we get to see, along with a couple of side characters maybe being Sheikah. All the others are dead or simply no longer in Hyrule. Along with that, in Twilight Princess, the Hylian royal family don't seem to have as big of a connection to the Sheikah in this game compared to the connection between them in others, like Ocarina of Time and Breath of the Wild. It seems that at this time, the Hylian royal family might not have even gotten along with the Sheikah, saying that they pretty much ordered Impaz to stay in the hidden village until she died. So I believe that this could be a design element left over from the very early time that Sheik was in the game. If we look at the page in Hyrule Historia where Sheik is featured, we can see the artwork of Zelda in this cloak right next to them, and it's pretty much identical to how it looks in the final game. So it could be that this was just a very early design that just stuck around, even when Sheik was removed from the game. If Sheik was in this game, it could have meant that the Sheikah would have a much bigger appearance within Twilight Princess, or at least a closer connection to the royal family, giving the symbol on the back of the princess's cloak a little bit more meaning. Now, if Sheik was in Twilight Princess, how could they have worked with the story? Well, I have a couple of ideas. First things first, Zelda would be Sheik. The idea of Sheik maybe being their own character separate from Zelda is something I'd be interested in seeing at some point, but it's pretty clear that in this game they would have been the same person. Now, with the story that we got, how could we work this character in without changing too much of it? Well, I think there is one part of this game which would have been the perfect place to first introduce Sheik. And that is right here. Now, this moment of the game has its own theories around it, but that's a topic for another video. At this moment in the game, Link has taken Midna back to Princess Zelda after Midna was exposed to light by Zant. The two have gone to Zelda in hopes that she can help save Midna. Within this moment after Midna is saved, Zelda pretty much disappears from the game till the end of it. You don't see or hear anything from her until you see her at the start of the final boss gauntlet. But if Sheik was in this game, after this moment is when I think they could have started to turn up and help Link now and then, similar to what they did in Ocarina of Time. It would have allowed Zelda to be more involved with the story of the game after this point, and could have been a nice way to give her more personality, as out of all of the Zeldas in the series, she is a little lacking in that department. One other way they could have also gotten involved with the story is with the events leading to Link making his way to the hidden village. In the game originally, we have this whole kind of side story going on with Ilia losing her memory, and we find out that she was later helped by Impaz in the hidden village. We need to get to the hidden village in order to progress the main story, so helping Ilia helps the main quest. I've always found it a little weird how the hidden village was implemented through Ilia, so I think if Sheik was in this game, they could have been the one to help us find the location. After all, the hidden village is heavily implied to be the original Kakariko village from Ocarina of Time, and the location is where we also find Impaz, one of the last Sheikah. Having Sheik be the one to tell us of the village and how to get to it, I think would work very well with the character and story in my opinion. The final idea I had to work this character in kinda goes against the main story of the game the most, but I really liked the idea, so I wanted to mention it. Within Twilight Princess, we all know that Link turns into a wolf when he enters the Twilight Realm. This is because of the Triforce of Courage. But one thing I've always wondered about is why he's the only Triforce holder who transforms when in Twilight. When we find Zelda for the first time, she's in Hyrule Castle, which has been completely surrounded by Twilight. Link is a wolf at the moment, so why is she not transformed into a spirit or a different form like Link? Maybe when in the Twilight Realm, Zelda could take the form of Sheik. It would give Zelda a Twilight form like Link, and I feel Sheik would work really well with the look of the Twilight around them. This is obviously a very big and different idea to how the story shows things in the game, but I really like it. It would give Zelda a Twilight affected form, fit the dark Twilight theming, and maybe even give the princess a little bit more to do in the overall story of the game. With all things considered though, all the cool ideas that might have been, I think there is a very good reason as to why Sheik was not included in Twilight Princess, even if the story could have been worked around them. And that's pretty simple, because it was done before. We already know that Sheik is Zelda, and no matter how they were implemented in this game, it would never have been as big of a surprise as it was in Ocarina of Time for fans who already played that game. I do think we will see Sheik come back in another game at some point, and I'd love to see it, but Twilight Princess was not the right time. It honestly wasn't too long between Ocarina of Time and Twilight Princess, and Twilight Princess already takes a lot of inspiration from Ocarina of Time. Adding in Sheik might have been a split choice for fans, as some might have seen it as a somewhat lazy addition just copying from Ocarina of Time, but we'll never really know. This artwork has always been one of my favourites of something that never made it into the game it was made for. It's so simple. Just the ideas around how Sheik could have been worked into the game are really interesting and exciting to me. Now, I did mention at the start of this video that there was a single line in Hyrule Historia about this artwork that I would later talk about. That line says that this artwork of Sheik was made for Smash Bros. Brawl. But that is wrong. This artwork was made for Twilight Princess, but then later used as a base for the design of Sheik in that game, as mentioned on the Smash Dojo. I believe this line in Hyrule Historia must have been some kind of translation error. If you think about it, it doesn't make much sense for them to make artwork for Smash Bros in the style of a completely different game for one character. And remember, this was before all of the craziness that happened in Smash Bros 4 and Smash Ultimate. It is a bit of a shame to see this design didn't make it into Twilight Princess, but it's nice to see that it didn't go completely unused. So while not in the game it was originally intended for, this version of Sheik does live on in some way. Hey Hylians, thank you for watching all the way to the end of this video. As I've mentioned throughout the video, I really do love the unused ideas and artwork for Zelda games, and this video has been a lot of fun to make. I'd love to hear your thoughts on what you think Sheik could have done if included in Twilight Princess, and also tell me about some of the bits of unused Zelda content that you like. Maybe I'll do some more videos like this on bits of unused stuff from the series at some point. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe if you haven't already for even more Zelda content. Thank you all again for watching, I hope you've all enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!